Hello everyone, my dear students. Last day, I think it was yesterday, we started a new course, Object-Oriented Programming in Python. But technically speaking, all OOP ideas are the same. And if you want to compare, check my OOP with C++ course. Also, of course, as usual, I appreciate your likes, your comments. And today is our second lesson. So in the first lesson, we covered object-oriented programming essential terminology, class, logical unit to combine data and code, instance variable or property. It's actually a piece, a data piece of the class. Method, the coding related to the class. A function, method is a special function. We not only create classes or define classes, we have to instantiate them to make them work. We call an instance or a representative of a class object. And instantiation, it's a process of creating from class objects. So class basically is a plan, template, blueprint for future objects. And we have a special method to do that. And it's called constructor. Constructor is responsible for instantiation, for creating from the blueprint valid object. Also, we took a very simple example, very simple class, but we are going to develop. So don't worry if it looks right now too basic. We are going to add to our class rectangle more and more features with new and new lessons. So you see constructor, it has special word, reserved name, two underscores, init two underscores, and you see two methods. One method basically increases the size of the rectangle, and second method is to decrease the size of the rectangle. Self is parameter of any method. It's very important to understand self is the address of the current object. But when you call constructor, what constructor does, it's asking operating system for the memory. Then after the memory is allocated, constructor saves the address here, initialize all the instance variables, and very important, constructor returns self back to main program. So if you look at the constructor right now, certain stuff is hidden. You see in lines 4 to 6 just initialization, but two steps are hidden here. They are implicit. So before initialization, constructor does memory allocation, and after initialization, constructor returns self back to calling function. Despite of the fact you don't see return statement. But the other methods, they receive self. They get it and they work on whatever object is calling them. So that's how they basically, that's how all the objects share the same code, despite of the fact they are different, because anytime a method is called, the address of the current object is passed to the method, and, and that's why you can process different rectangles using the same coding. Okay, let's go further, because my plan was not only to create rectangles, not only manipulate rectangles, grow and shrink. My plan was also to by the way, let's make it more consistent with our naming agreements. So my plan was to draw rectangles. I want to see them. I want to visualize my rectangles on a console window. And how I did it is basically in 3 steps. So you see, basically I split the task into 3 steps. So first, I draw the top line of the rectangle in a loop. Then I draw the middle part of the rectangle in a nested loop. And then I draw the bottom part, which is the same, by the way, as drawing the top. So you see my draw bottom is calling draw top. Whenever you use methods inside the other methods, you still have to provide self keyword. So this is very important. Beginners quite often forget about it. So that's my improvements. So I decided to add to my class method draw, but in order to make it more structured, I created 3 like helper methods, and I call them in lines 32, 33, 34. Of course, you can follow the course just by watching videos, but I think the great idea would be to try. Everything you see, you should try, you should practice. So let me save the changes. Let me go to tester, because you have to test if your rectangle is working. So look, I initialized or instantiated rectangle. I save it in a variable R, and then I called my new method draw just to prove it's working properly. So let's try it. And yes, you see now I can touch, I can see my rectangles. They now more tangible, more real. And we are going to, as I told you, discussing new object-oriented programming concepts. We are going to add to our rectangle class more and more features. Next lesson, we are going to discuss static members. Sometimes we call both properties and methods members, class members. So there is a special group of them. We call them static members, and that's going to be next lesson topic. I wish you the best. Stay tuned, please. Keep watching our tutorials, and I'm looking forward to see you again. Bye-bye.